Hello everyone, my name's Fiona. I'm Head of Sales and Account Management here at PTFS Europe, and thank you very much for joining us on this lunchtime webinar. The focus of today's webinar is all about the Koha Staff Interface and essentially just exploring it, having a look at what you're seeing when you log in, and really to get a feel for how intuitive it is and how easy it is to use as well. I'm not going to be delving into the nitty-gritty detail of the functionality of the system because there is a series of webinars where we've gone through those that are available on our YouTube channel, and we will be running more webinars on functionality going forward as well. So this is simply a sort of quick overview into the Koha staff side. Now, when Koha was introduced back in 1999, it was developed as a completely web-based library management system. And as such, there has never been the need to install a separate client on the workstations, and it's always been accessible through the browser. And with that in mind, it's very familiar to people. You find when libraries transfer over to Koha, that's not really a stumbling block. Everybody's familiar with accessing things on the web and clicking links and such like. And that's what I'm going to be showing you today, really, how it just looks the same as any other web-based system that you may be working with. Another feature of it being web-based is it's responsive, so it will resize itself accordingly, depending upon what device you're using. So you can wander around your library holding an iPad or a mobile phone and still have the full functionality of Koha available to you. So what you're seeing on screen at the moment is our demo system, and I will be concentrating on our demo system. And then I suppose a little disclaimer is it is quite busy because we have lots of things going on here. And so you can really have it stripped way back if you want. And I'll just be highlighting some of those areas that you can configure as well. So I have logged into the system. Over on the right-hand side here, you can see that I've logged in with my credentials. So logged in as the user Fiona. I belong to the main library, and I've got a till set as well. Now, I'll show you the login screen in just a moment, but each of these variables can be set up at the point of logging in, or you can toggle them. So if you wanted to change the library and the cash register that you've set as your default there, then you've got the ability to do that once you are logged in. Now, as I say, what you then see is dependent upon your login. So we can see that quite a lot of detail appearing on my front screen here in terms of the modules that I can access. And that's coming from the permissions in my account. So if I just have a look at my account information, and if I come in and have a look at the permissions, you can see that I've got access to all the librarian functions. I'm a super librarian, and therefore I basically see everything that there is to see on the system. But I could give permissions to members of staff that are a more granular level. So for example, if I have a look at the acquisition management, if I click the show details there, you can see that I can assign permissions at group level, which would mean that a login would have access to everything under acquisitions, or I may want to define certain permissions within the group. So for example, I may want to just give somebody access to receive orders, perhaps, but not to manage any funds or budgetary information. So you can be really quite granular in your approach, and that then has an impact on what they see when they log in, as you'll see shortly as well. The other thing that I was going to just show when the more menu here as well is you've got the ability to manage two-factor authentication. So looking at my account, you can see that this has been enabled, but I can disable it if I wish. And I'm pointing that out to you now as you'll see that in operation in just a moment time. So I'm going to just temporarily log out as myself, and I'm going to log in as a different user. So this is the login screen that we see. And this time I'm logging in as David. And the default here is that it's currently set to my library, which means that by default, when we log in as David, we will be linked to the workstation that's been associated with his home library when his card was registered. And you can see here as well, we've got the cash register and it's set to the default, but in each case, we've got a pull down menu that we can use to select things. So once I click login, you can immediately see here, I've got fewer options available on screen. So for example, I don't have acquisition button appearing. So yeah, you've got fewer options here. And if this login doesn't have, as I said, access to acquisitions, then when I click the more button here, also cannot access acquisitions from this screen either. So the permission has just been set so that they can't actually see that at all. Now, you can also see over at the right-hand side that the library here is set to Hunt. So this login belongs to a different library than the one that we've just logged in as. So I'm just going to log out and log back in as myself for the remainder of the session, just so that we've got full access to everything. And this is where you can see that I'm prompted now for my two-factor authentication code. However, I wasn't when I logged in as the other user because it was disabled on that account. So I'm just grabbing my phone to get the token. Okay, so now I'm logged back in and you can see I've got the acquisitions button appearing there, for example. The other thing I just wanted to show before I go into sort of specific details is this example. And you can immediately see that it's very pink. So this is an example of one of our customer test systems. And primarily, they've put the background colour as being this vibrant pink so that staff immediately know that they're working on the test system. But I just wanted to highlight it in this webinar because it also shows how easy it is to make customizations and configurations to your staff interface, whether it's colour or, as you can also see here, the font's a lot bigger up the top. And the library has control of doing that themselves through the CSS tools. They can come to us and ask us to do it. But this is the beauty of Koha. You're in control of your own configuration. So yeah, when you see here, the pink background and the larger font, also you can see they've got quite an empty space underneath here, which you'll see in comparison to ours in a second. So coming back, you can immediately see their font is different here. Now, what we can also see on the home screen is the ability to utilise the area for any purpose that you want. For example, over on the left-hand side, we've got this news panel. And on our system, we've kind of separated this into task lists, so daily tasks and weekly tasks. And if I toggle back, they've not done that. They've just got the standard welcome to and some documentation links in there. So this is, again, all very configurable. So we've got things like weekly tasks, check the transfers to received report. That's a link. So the member of staff can just click on that link and they get taken into that particular area. They don't have to find it. It's all linked from the homepage. We can also embed some dashboards if we wanted to within your home screen here as well. So this is pulling through from another system that we use, but it's pretty graphs, and you can, as I say, you can create outbound links from your Koha home screen should you wish. We've also got this area here, which is known as a dashboard. This is dynamically generated, and the numbers will automatically change depending upon the actions that are taken. So this is, for example, we have got suggestions pending approval. So somebody has maybe created a purchase suggestion on the OPAC, and now as a member of staff, I'm notified of that, and I can come in and action that purchase suggestion. So I can approve the purchase suggestion and so on, and then the user would get a notification about that. Now, the other thing to mention is you've got a breadcrumb trail at the top left-hand corner. So at any time, I can return to the home page quite easily by clicking on the home icon. And I can also then sort of take my page step by step back by following that breadcrumb trail. Above the dashboard area, we've got our modular buttons, and they're also accessible via the black banner at the top. And we've got the more menu option here, giving you access into other areas. Or if we wanted, we could create these further links along the black bar, should we wish as well. We've also got this main user block area, which can again be used for absolutely anything that you wish. Some of our libraries like to put shortcuts to reports on here, which can be very beneficial for library staff members that maybe need to generate some statistics at the end of the day, but they don't want to have to go to the reports area, find the report, then run it. They can just have a shortcut on their homepage here, which allows them to just actually run that report. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. This one, the weeding report, a member of staff, providing they've got permission to see the reports, could just click that link. They've got all the information that they need and they can action what they need to do at this stage. Alternatively, you've got this type of report which is asking you for some information before it gives you the results. So in this case, patron circulation history, I can scan or type in the borrower barcode, click on go, and I get that patron circulation history. And yes, it has come from a report, but it's giving me the information on the screen just by scanning in the barcode. I can, however, of course, get the checkout history via the user record itself. So I could have searched the user record first and then looked at the circulation history. It's just a shortcut way in. A third thing that some people do for putting reports on the screen though is to sort of put selection criteria in as well. So I'll give you two examples here. We made an action before running the report. And the first one, I just clicked a link and we got the results. And we've got a third type here where, for example, we asked to put for criteria before running it. So in this case, circulation statistics by date range at my branch. The library member of staff might want to be able to get these statistics very quickly without having to go and find the report and set up the report first. So they click the link and then they put their date range in. And when you click on the box there, you can see it opens up a calendar gadget for me, and I can just click on the relevant date range before executing the report. And this calendar gadget will appear anywhere where you're asked to submit a date range. Okay, I mentioned the black bar at the top. You've got your link back to your homepage from here as well, from the little Koha icon. And you can see you've got the most sort of popular options for circulation, most commonly used ones, I guess, along here. You've got a pull down menu here for your search. So it gives you the option to just search a catalogue, doing an advanced search or an item search. But those buttons also appear here, and I'll come back to those in a few moments' time. And I did mention you've got the more menu where you can access the modules, providing you've got access in your login to them. But if you wanted to pull any further ones up as shortcuts here, then you very can do so. Now, underneath your black box, you've got what we like to call the Omni box. This gives you the most commonly used functions on every page. So here we are on our home page, and it's assuming we want to either do a checkout command, or maybe we want to check in material, renew, or we want to search our users database or search the catalogue. These are dependent upon where we are working at the time. So for example, if I then click into acquisitions, you'll see the bar at the top changes and it gives me the prompt now to do a vendor search or an order search. So it's just trying to present, quick ways to find that information. Third example, if I click onto authorities, again, you'll see that the Omnibox changes, and it's now prompting me to search my authorities database. Where there's filters, so for example, if I'm going to search my user database, I get this little filter option up here. So I can then do keyword searches, or if I wanted to be more specific and search across a particular user category, for example, then I've got the filters to do so. Okay, and likewise, when I search the catalogue, I'm presented with some search filters as well. Which index am I using, and what library am I searching across? Now, as I mentioned, with it being a web-based system, it has got navigational links throughout, and also you can open as many tabs as you want, which can be very beneficial when you're working in a busy library and you're maybe working on a catalogue record, and then somebody wants to come in to check out a book, and you need to leave that catalogue record to do that. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of how that can work. So I'm going to search my patrons and I'm just going to look up my user record in this way. Because I've put in the barcode, it's taken me straight to the user record. Obviously, if I'd done a keyword search on my name, I would then get a pick list and I would, select the correct record from the list. Over above the photo, which incidentally are entirely optional to use, but if you do want to upload patron photos, you can. You can see just by hovering here that this is a staff member, and you can see the little bolt of lightning here represents that I've got super librarian permissions as well. So you get a wee indication from the screen here. I'm not going to go through the detail of what you're seeing on screen because we have done webinars on this, and as I say, there will be future webinars which focus on specific areas of functionality as well. But I did want to just show a couple of examples. So if I come and have a look at my list of checkouts, you can see here that the top one, the Crime of Galileo, is a hyperlink, so is the barcode. So if I wanted to come and have a look at this, I can obviously click on that link, or I could right click, choose to open the link in a new tab, opens the new tab for me, and I've got my information about the catalogue record appearing on this tab, but my user record still remains on that other tab. And just to put up another one, I do the killing place in a new tab again. Opens up a third tab for me, and there's the details of that catalogue record. Now, what you can also see is, of course, if I'd searched the catalogue and I pulled this record up in the first place, it would show that it's been checked out, and there I've got a link back to the user record. So I can navigate from the catalogue record into the user record. And just looking at both the catalogue record and the user record in parallel, you can see the consistency of the display through Koha. So, for example, on this catalogue record screen, we've got menu options down the left-hand side, and we've got tabular displays with information here. So if I look at my user record, there's your tabular displays of information and your menu options down the left-hand side. Now, again, within each of these, you've got similarities too. So you can see that these are all column settings. So if I wanted to sort by due date, for example, in the list of checkouts, I can click on the little arrows there. If I wanted to sort by title order, I can click there. And the same applies within the catalogue record. In this case, we've only got one, but you can see that they've got the ability to do that. Also, what's consistent throughout Koha is the ability to search within tables. So here we can, if we had a large list of holdings, we could search. That can be really useful at times as well. And we've also got the ability to sort the columns. So, for example, we can see copy number here. Maybe isn't that useful. If we wanted to take that off, we can just click on the columns screen here, and then we can disable the copy number field, and it takes it away. So it's no longer there. And if you have got permission to do so, you've got admin permission, then you've got the ability to configure the columns that are consistent across the board, and they would be globally set for everybody. But otherwise, you can toggle columns on and off as you would like to do so. Okay. I mentioned the breadcrumb trail at the top as well. So we come back and have a look at my user record. You can see we're in the details tab of the user record, which matches what we're seeing here. If I was to click on the accounting tab, for example, it then takes me in by default to make a payment within the tab, and that's what we see on the breadcrumb trail. But from there, I can go back to the user record. I can go back further if I want to the patron screen, which is allowing me to search or browse for the user. And of course, I can go back to the home page. Let's just hypothetically go into the circulation screen just so I can show this to you. We do have the option up at the top right to go back and look at the last patron. So at any time, I can go back and have a look at the record that I was just in. And you can see it, hopefully, that I'm hovering over it and it is pulling up the name of the user that I was just working with. But you do have the drop down arrow here as well, which gives you the list and you can clear it. You get context sensitive help everywhere within Koha, which is the online documentation manual, which is administered and kept up to date by the Koha community. We've got a documentation team that work on this. And I did mention it was context sensitive. So when I clicked the link to the help, it brought up the circulation page for me here. You can see it's all indexed down the left-hand side, so you can come in and expand. So if I wanted more information on returning material, I can expand on that and I get my section headers. And if I scroll to the top, as well, you can see that you've got the ability to search the Koha manual by keyword too. And just to prove it is context sensitive for you, if I click on another thing like holds to pull, for example, and then click the help button here, again, it opens up the help file with the correct section highlighted for me. Finally, just to finish up, I just wanted to show you searching. So mentioned that you've got the ability to search the catalogue using the Omni box and you've got the filters here. So if I just do a quick keyword search for something, just do spin, you get your filters down the left-hand side, which are allowing you obviously to refine your search a little bit further. So we found 36 results here. You get book covers appearing. You get details. You can see in this first instance, for example, the availability saying this one's checked out, but in the second one, it should be on the shelf. Again, dependent upon the permissions that your login has, you may be able to immediately go to edit the catalogue record or to edit the item records from here and have a look at how it looks in the OPAC as well. So what you're seeing here, again, is dependent upon login permissions. You can filter your search if you wanted to. So, for example, out of this 36, let's see if I'm only interested in looking at what we've got that are actually in book form that I could borrow. I could click the filter on the left-hand side and it refines that search for me. And if I wanted to take it a little bit further and actually say, only show me what's available. So this top one and the second one, actually, they're both checked out. So if I now click the availability limiter to it only available items, we can see now that reduces my list to 17 and it removes those top two entries. It does leave this one, which is checked out, but the reason for that is because there are other copies that are available sitting on the shelf. The other search options you have are an advanced search, which allows you to refine your search before executing it. So I could refine it automatically to only look for books if I wanted to. And if I scroll down, you can also do things like, well, there's my currently available. So that's doing the filter before I do the search, whereas I searched first, then filtered. And I can also limit by publication here and so on. And finally, just to say, we do also have an item search tool. The searching that I've just shown you searches the catalogue records and obviously then presents the item, the holdings associated with that. But an item search allows you to drill down and search the item copies themselves specifically. So, for example, if you did want to see anything that had been marked as claimed returned, then you can do so quite easily. Or if you were looking for anything that had been marked potentially as damaged or whatever, then you've got the features to do that. So that is me almost out of time, but hopefully that quick run through just gave you an idea of how intuitive and simple it is to use Koha. And drop us a line if you've got any questions and follow us on YouTube and LinkedIn where we post all information about our webinars. So thank you very much.